Welcome in, ladies and gents. This is House of Guinness. So, this is a series that was written by Stephen Knight. You guys may be familiar with him if you have watched his little series on Netflix called Peaky Blinders, which I think is in the top three of all Netflix series. And so, yeah, this this is a great watch, man. This is uh, pretty much based on obviously the real events and or at least not the real events, but based on some of the stories, some of the real stories that I guess happened during the time of the Guinness family during that late 19th century period with the three brothers and the one sister. I believe the brothers is Arthur, Edward, and Benjamin, and I believe the sister name is Anne. And they have like a butler, and they have like I guess you could say their their CEO, or he wouldn't be a CEO. He probably would be like a president or something of their business. But he was basically their handyman, but he was in charge of the Guinness brewing establishment. And yeah, you have him, and then think the wife that or the eventual wife of the brother Arthur, who is the oldest brother, and you have um, one of a cousin that is supposed to be eventually married to Edward, who is the youngest. But like I always say, you got kind of he got the able spirit, where the youngest brother is the cultivator of the land, as opposed to the hunter. He's the one that brings a lot of what makes the community start to flourish into fruition. And so, the youngest boy, that able spirit, tends to always be the one that elevates the family to newer heights. And so we see that he is more like his father in that way of being more innovative and being a entrepreneur, but being of just forward thinking as opposed to stagnating. And because I believe the brother Arthur, he doesn't. And it's funny too when you think about it, because when I'm thinking, because the brother in Peaky Blinders also, he was the oldest and his name was Arthur. I don't know why. I don't know why Stephen Knight has a thing for Arthur's being the bigger brother. But anyway, that's just something that I just realized right now. But yeah, and so I believe Benjamin, he is the brother that is the middle. He's the middle brother, and he's drunk. He's always the one that's drunk and unreliable to the family. Because they had and that's just know this will be now. I'm in the spoiler section of this, so I will say though before I get to the spoilers, um, this is a great show. It is only about 8 episodes. It's written well. It's directed well. The cinematography in here is great, and like I said, the characters beyond just the family itself, the supporting cast. Like I believe it's a girl and her brother. They are like I forget what's the name of the organization in this series that they are part of. It's an Ireland, I guess you could say, political radical group. And you have they are like they are, I guess you say that they're essentially political activists, especially against the Guinness family during that time. And so yeah, you have them, and then you have, like I said, some of the wife and husbands of the family, and or at least of the Guinness family, and we just see just the different dynamics. And then they have, like, I think there's like Lost Lone Cousin that's played by Game of Thrones alumni that's in here. And so yeah, overall, man, the show is dope. I really think you guys should check it out if you got an opportunity to. It's a quick watch because it's only 8 episodes, and it's enjoyable. Like I said, you learn some things about the historical, I guess you could say, pinpoints or the bulletin points of the Guinness family, expanding their enterprise outside of just Ireland and England. I believe those are the only two countries that they had most of their stuff in, and so we see how that expansion grows. But yeah, overall, it's a dope series. But I'm gonna just do some minor spoilers here. So this is the spoiler section, and so yeah, we see that you have the cousin that is coming from that he was based in Ireland, and they because they Arthur utilizes him, or at least I guess you could say no, not Arthur, Edward. Edward utilizes him, or maybe that cousin is utilizing Edward in order to advance his own agendas in America. And because they're all, Ireland proud, we see he takes the advancement, the financial advancement that he got from Arthur to expand towards America. He takes it to his cousin, and they have their own little political group that they have in America, where you have certain Irish groups that's, I guess you could say, more Americana embracing, or they are more religious zealots, and then you have the Ireland group that's a little bit more spiritual, or they a little bit more gypsy like. And so you see that, and I did like the dynamic between Edward and his cousin, who was in that other Netflix series, I believe, on The Sandman, I think. But yeah, she was at first very apprehensive to his advancements, and because she has a very like independent woman spirit, particularly like the other woman, who I believe may be like I don't know, like the Guinness family's consultant or something in that regard, or she's like she's the Guinness family's matchmaker or whatever, and she tried to match up Arthur and Edward with different women, and that was kind of crazy though, towards where the wife, the soon to be wife of Arthur, who understood Arthur's proclivity of being a homosexual, especially during that time period where those sexual orientations were very frowned upon, especially in Ireland and London, who was very I think is their religion during that time was being very Protestant or Catholic or whatever. And so we see that dynamic, that she actually didn't care that he had that sexual proclivity, because she wanted to go have her fun elsewhere, and she found it in their handyman eventually, which was insane. And it's just crazy because that same handyman also was sleeping around with their sister Anne, who he also got pregnant, and because he ended up getting Arthur's wife pregnant over time, and they end up falling in love and all that stuff. And it's just the way certain things just unfolded was just insane. And then you have I'm saying Edward, Arthur, and then you have Edward, the youngest boy, who is catching feelings for the radical. Not only he was so adamant about getting with his cousin, who is this independent type of woman, but she on the older side, and I guess during that time she's probably, I want to say, closer to 30, or maybe probably at 30. So she was an older woman during that time. And you have the radical Irish political activist girl that he was with. Well, she wasn't really as radical. It was her brother that's really more radical, but she was a political activist nevertheless. And we see, I know we kind of knew, or at least you can suspect where that was going between Edward and the female, the political female. We saw that because they two young people, two people trying to prove something in this world. And so we knew that relationship dynamic was going to end up unfolding, but obviously it couldn't last because of reputations and all that stuff. But yeah, it was cool. And then that Butler, I seen him in some other stuff, some other shows. I can't think of the shows right now, but anytime he pop up on screen, he's great, because he obviously protects a lot of the stuff going on. Then and her, like, seeing that part of where, because they had certain properties, the Guinness family had certain properties throughout Ireland, and they see certain little towns within their land that was poor, and it makes sense. It's like, we got all these different properties, and the people that live on our land is living in squalor. They living in nothing, and it's like, but it's kind of funny too, because like it's because of some of the ailments that Anne had herself. She actually ended up seeing at least gaining a new perspective of what was going on in her own backyard. And so it was dope to see that. And just, yeah, overall, man, this show was great. And I really think you guys check it out. It's a good watch. So peace.